In this lesson, we'll cover creating conduit. So the view we currently have open is the section view of an electrical panel layout. We have electrical panels displayed, and from some of those panels, we have conduit routed panel to panel. So how do we go about creating conduit? Well, let's first verify our settings for conduit. To do that, let's go to the Systems tab, and in the electrical panel area, click the arrow drop down to the right. That will display our electrical settings. Here, you can click Conduit and set the various variables for our conduit settings. You can also change and edit the sizes of conduit based on the standard that you'll actually use. Just click Cancel on the electrical settings window. Now, to route our conduit, we can do this in a couple different ways. One is, on the Systems tab, you could choose Conduit, and then start to draw conduit freely, or selecting panels or other electrical equipment, connect conduit from point to point. Another method is, if you've already drawn your electrical equipment, and that electrical equipment has the ability to accept conduit, you can route it from there. For example, let's click the panel box on the left. Once you do, you'll see drag handles appear. The drag handle that's circular in shape is actually one that controls conduit. If you right-click on that symbol, you'll have an option in the menu for Draw Conduit from Face. Go ahead and select that. Once you do, Revit will ask you, how do you want to align the conduit entering in this panel box? The crosshairs indicate the circular cutout where the conduit would connect or enter the box. You can move that if you want, or just click the green check mark to finish the connecting, accepting the defaults. Now, once you do that, you see you actually can start to drag the conduit out and start to click to draw the actual route of the conduit. Here, I'm just simply going to click and then click again, and then move directly up to the bottom of the panel box above, and then I'll select the surface of the bottom of the panel box. And from here, once again, Revit will ask me, how do I want to connect or bring in the conduit into this panel box? Again, the crosshairs indicating where that conduit will enter the box. I can move it or simply click the green check mark to accept it. This will then route the actual conduit, creating all of the components within the conduit based upon our settings set within the properties of this conduit. Now, one thing that you can do is, if you don't want to include slope, especially if you're going vertical, you can actually uncheck mark or check mark the ignore slope to connect. This will produce a different option and a different layout because slope will be ignored, and you'll actually draw the conduit directly from point to point. Click Modify when done. Now, if you select any element of the conduit, you can actually see the properties of the conduit on the left. And if you click Edit Type, these are the variables set for the fittings at various points, such as a bend, a T, a cross, or transition, and what happens if those are created within your conduit. Click OK. Click anywhere in the background to deselect. So as a review, in this lesson, we created conduit. We looked at first our conduit settings and how to change or modify those settings. We looked at multiple ways to create our conduit, one by using the conduit command on the Systems tab, or another way is by selecting an electrical equipment that has the capability to connect conduit and routing our conduit from there.